recording. Let me do that anyway. All right, I'm recording the session. Okay. All right, Gia, maybe you can go next.
Yeah, so I don't have an impressive resume like anyone, Ravi. Like I graduated this semester.
Okay.
So basically I have not like much practical information about like how it works in the field.
Okay.
But like I know SQL, a little bit Java, C++. So whatever we have learned in college, I know those languages. Not so good, but like SQL is been so far my favorite. So this course has been recommended by Adil and it's been in demand for so long, Hadoop and everything.
Yep.
So that's why I joined in.
Great, Gia. So yeah, Adil is one of my current student. He is also recently graduated, but he's doing pretty good because this is since it is a new technology. Sometimes it does help for folks those are just coming out of college. What I found in Adil, he's very good with Python. I mean, even the experienced folks, what he couldn't do, he is able to do the Python stuff pretty well. So it's a mixture of stuff. Some new folks know the new languages, new trends, and folks those are already experienced in the industry. They have different advantages since they might have worked on the databases, languages, applications. So it's a different kind of advantage, but definitely it all when it comes down to learning new technology, at what stage you start doesn't really matter, whether you're an experienced person or you are starting right from the college. It's a great curriculum to get started as a career or a career change. Really doesn't matter. So that way it doesn't it's not a big difference anyway. All right. Senthil is offline, so we'll go ahead. I'll talk about a little bit about myself, then we will straight jump into the demo session, which will cover things like as you see here, this is my, okay, I don't know why this, let me see, this, it's a new laptop, facing some issues, all right. Okay, maybe you have to just scroll it. It doesn't go page by page. That's okay. I'll go a little bit about talk about a little bit myself because I am the instructor for this course, and talk about what we do, what I've been doing, right? So that way you know what's the what background do I come from. My name is Ratikant Pratap Singh. Go by the name RP or Ratikant. Either way is fine. So I have. Um, Primarily again Adil and sorry Gia, I was a student long back, almost 20 years back. I graduated from LSU, Louisiana State University, Baton Rouge. Been in this IT industry more than 20 years. Primarily started as a database engineer 1996 in IBM. In fact, that's where my first job is, in Austin. Oracle, that time it was very hot. Was an Oracle database administrator, development DBA for almost. I started my career that way and stayed in that kind of profession for almost until 2002. So 7 years, 6 years. Then I joined full time with. By that time I moved from Austin to Dallas, by the way, and since then. In fact, from 1996 or 97, I have been in Dallas, Texas for almost last 20 years here in Dallas. So I come from database background, and then 2002 I moved to data warehouse and BI background. That was hot that time. It's still hot. BI and data warehouse is always hot, no matter whether it's recession or good economy like now. Last 4 or 5 years, in 2010, I joined another company, which is a service provider company, international service provider company, as a senior principal architect. And I've been doing that for last 6 years. It will be 7th year this year. Around 2013, I kind of switched my gear towards big data when big data was just coming up. I was working for American Express as one of the client, and that's when I started making the switch. Coming from database background, data background, it's much easier. Or you are coming from data warehouse, data background, it's very natural course change for me because big data is nothing but again data. Dealing with data, whether it's data ingestion, ETL, consumption, differences is a new technology. But again, if you are if you are dealing with data in your past experience, or whether it's college or profession, you will not see a huge difference, but it will just add more capabilities that we will talk about in a little bit. Okay. So then from my experience standpoint, right, because I'm a senior principal architect, in my level, I interact with a variety of accounts, financial, insurance, manufacturing. Last 5 years probably I have worked with at least 30-40 accounts. I have worked as a consultant, sales, pre-sales, opportunity, variety of roles, okay, that I have done with them. And one of the good thing is, since this new technology has been coming up for last few years, we have seen how industries have picked up, how what kind of use cases they are talking about to migrate from traditional data warehouse to big data, traditional platform to big data. So it has been a very good experience from that standpoint. And some companies have already adopted big data 3-4 years back, like American Express, one of the company which is quite mature. But here now, this year, I'm working for Charles Schwab, who are just starting. In fact, I'm working for their platform engineering at this point. Got started 2 weeks back. Their big data platform engineering, which is just starting from the foundation layer. So many different companies have adopted this technology at different time in the last 4 or 5 years. But what I've seen is it's the similar trend around financial. Toyota, I was working just a couple of months back. Toyota Financial, they are doing the same thing. Toyota Motors, I was working last year on their connected car concept, which is on big data on Azure, Microsoft-based cloud, right? So I see the industry traction around this industry, around this technology. Coming from data background, coming from BI, data warehouse and data background, I see how there is a kind of paradigm shift happening in terms of technology. Okay, so that's what I will kind of discuss in the next 1 hour, and I will take questions as well. I've been training for almost last more than 2 years, and we do have in classroom and online training. This specific, by the way, we have 2 different kind of courses. One is pure big data, what we'll be teaching, and we also have a data science course, which more covers on the analytics side. When I say analytics, it's more on the machine learning and predictive analytics, those kind of stuff. So there is another one of my partner who does that along with me. So I'm pretty much good on both sides, by the way. But in the big data course, I do bring in a lot of data science side as well, because one of the product you will learn here, which is called Apache Spark, is a great platform for machine learning. Okay, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So okay, so with that, let's go into the course curriculum and how it is structured. And how many of you have some background with big data, by the way? Any of you have any any insight, any seen YouTube videos, taken some courses online, or some free classes, right? Any of you have been exposed?
I have little bit, I cannot say it's a background. I've monkeyed around with making some of the analytical tools work with unstructured data using Cloudera Impala drivers.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I remember we discussed that, right? From Cognos, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Now
that is correct.
we discussed that. Okay, good.
And of course, on the front end analytics and other things, of course, I don't have any exposure to mining tools, but I have pretty much used, you name the analytical tool, I have used it. And I am more on the engineering side. Because,
okay.
Yeah, no, not data engineering, the platform engineering side.
When it's a platform engineering, I mean, again,
installing, configuring, keeping the lights on.
Got it. Okay. Engineering and admin kind of. Okay. Admin and configuration. Okay. Got it. Okay. Again, these are the different courses we offer, but I'm not telling you. But primary course, which has been hot, is this is the one. Big data is what we kind of been very popular last 2-3 years, and this is what goes on consistently month after month. Well, not every month. We do probably 4 to 5 batches a year, not many. Again, requirements I have put something SQL, Linux, and scripting. So SQL is, as you see, is the kind of base of all these courses. So and SQL is the primary requirement. Again, SQL is very easy to learn, as you all of you know. Then some Linux background will be great. Again, basic Linux, navigating in the cluster, because the whole cluster will be Linux based, whether it's CentOS or any of the Ubuntu or other form of Linux, but that's what we'll be using. And some scripting experience, right? If we have it, that will be great, whether SQL scripting or it's C, C++, Java, Python, anything you have done, that will be of great help. And we'll be learning couple of languages, by the way, in as part of the curriculum. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's not worry about the AWS. That's more about the platform and not worry about DevOps. But this is what we are, the fourth one, we are kind of, these two are not being offered at this point because of some reasons. But advanced analytics and machine learning, that's being offered, where myself and partner will both teach this course. Statistics, machine learning, Python, those kind of stuff. Okay. But again, so if you think about it, one is data engineering, right? Where the data you bring in the data, you process it, you curate it, you make it ready, and once the data is ready, you do analytics on top of it. Whether you do analytics or pure traditional BI reporting that Ravi was talking about, right? So those are the two main areas of data engineering and data analysis, right? And this is where we focus. And since we see there is a lot of innovation happening in this area, this is the area kind of every company is harping on at this point, right? It's not new. It has been this way for many years. The reason we see a lot of traction is because of the technology change, right? The whole big data cloud, the scalability of the platform which we have, these new technologies have brought in, and that is triggering this big data wave. And once data is in, what was not possible few years back, crunching through petabytes of data or multi-terabytes of data, now it is possible. And that's the reason, machine learning analytics or advanced analytics also becoming more popular, because of, now we are not constrained by server size, not constrained by, hey, I can't have this much of data in the platform and all that, right? Processing storage is much easier because of big data. So, and that's kind of triggering a lot of innovations in this area, and that's what we're trying to learn as part of this curriculum. Okay, as you see, so here Java is not mandatory for big data and cloud training, but good understanding of any programming construct is required. When I say programming construct, think about how to declare a variable, how to create a class. Maybe if it is Java, if it is not something, we will be learning Scala and Python, by the way. So how to create a function, how to call a function from parent program, right? Basic constructs of the program, the whole control structure, if else, loop, while loop, right? So that's how any programming you do, doesn't matter what language, right? That's some construct probably all of you have used in your career or in your school, right? And that is something you need to be comfortable with, and shouldn't be completely foreign to you. And I believe pretty much you should be okay with that. As part of the curriculum, you will need to learn Scala and Python. That's what we'll be covering in the class. We'll do this in parallel as we learn the platform. Okay, because these two will be used as we go into Apache Spark. Okay, and these are some of the hot languages in the market from big data side. Apart from Java, if you have Java, that's great. If not, Scala and Python. Scala is great for engineering. Python is great for analytics. I sometimes say, hey, go ahead and learn both, and you can. There are very lot of similarity. Python is extremely easy to learn, but that's what will get you started. I cannot say you will be expert by the end of the course in these languages, but once you get started, you will just learn yourself. We'll go over the basic constructs, because we need that before you get to the Apache Spark, the second half of the module, second half of the course.
Okay, a question here. Let me ask you one thing, Ratikant. You want us to hold the questions until the end?
No, go ahead and it can be whole discussion. I don't have to talk all the time. It can be both way. We can discuss.
On the languages, you said it's going to be Python. on the database, which database are we going to be using or covering in this course?
Okay, so
Because in big data, there are a bunch of open source databases, right?
yeah. So again, when we say database on the big data side, let's keep that question. I think we'll cover that as we go to the next slide, or look at the architecture or the open source the technology that you talked about. There is a lot of commonality between all the different distributions that I will talk about in a little bit. And no matter which distribution you learn, the standard technology is pretty much common. 90% is common. Okay.
Okay, and second question would be, of course, I am just tabling the questions. You need not answer them right away.
Absolutely.
Second would be, what tools are we learning? Of course, you did say that Spark would be one, and on over the phone when you had spoken, you said that people are moving from MapReduce over to Spark. So we will learn a little bit of MapReduce too. Apart from that, any ETL tool?
Yeah, we'll talk about that definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, all right. So yes, okay, that's good. So you park the questions. We'll talk about that as we
Yeah,
go.
and one more question in the parking lot.
Yep.
Would this training be more of a developer or more of a standing up the platform and expanding the platform, basically install and configurations?
Okay, that's a great question. Okay, so again, let me answer the last third question. This course is primarily given for more development side. Okay? Primarily more development side, not a Hadoop admin course. For example, where you install, configure. We will be doing some installation and configurations, but this is not completely focused on administration of cluster. The reason being, if we have 10 developers probably, or developers, or again, it could be fit for developers and architects, by the way. Lot of the architects, who have been in the markets 10, 15 years, if they want to get into this big data market or big data technology space, they have to start from the beginning, right? And that's where this development course will also be helpful to learn it quickly and market themselves as an architect maybe 6 months down the road, 1 year down the road. The reason being, technology is new. You can quickly ramp it up and showcase your skills as big data architect. It's not
Exactly. I was coming from that point of view. Exactly.
yeah. So that's what I have done myself. I have when I joined into big data stream, I was a database architect. I dealt with ETL tools. I dealt with databases and all the stuff, right? Typical data modeling, data, all the stuff. So when in 2013, 14, just like you guys, I took big data training. I took myself some training, and of course it was a little early for me, so I had some advantage of start 3 years back. It was much earlier than what it is today. And within a year, probably now all of my projects, I don't go back to the traditional projects anymore. Even in fact, if a company says, hey, we have a Teradata or SQL Server or Oracle project, do you want to come? I basically said, no, I'm focusing more on big data. I don't want to go back to the traditional databases anymore, because that's something, I don't want to build skill sets I had already built. I don't want to build my next skill set on the traditional technology, which is not going to be hot anyway, right? So there's no point. So from my own experience standpoint, I always try to focus more on the big data specific projects, analytics specific projects. These are the two areas I'm focusing. Apart from cloud, which is the third thing I still have to explore. I'm still a little behind, but those are the two areas. Yes, this is more from development, from architecture, and of course some platform knowledge. But platform knowledge is not what we focus here. We look at the each product architecture, the programming concepts behind it, how to use it, what kind of use case fits in, how does it fit into the industry. So those are the things. So when you go to the market, oh, this company is trying to build a connected car, wants to put his data on Microsoft Azure, or which is called HD Insight. How do I bring in my telematics data, which is JSON file? How do I put it in Hive table? How do I analyze it, or how do I visualize it in a Power BI. Again, we'll not go into the lot into the visualization side, but this is from experience standpoint, like people, some of you who have been in the job market or in the industry for many years, to create that perspective, to understand that big picture and solve the solution or solve the problems for the client, right? You go in as a consultant and solve the problem only when you have the full understanding of this tech stack. What are the different products in play for me? HDFS, MapReduce, Pig, Hive, Scoop, Flume, Apache Spark Streaming, Apache Spark Machine Learning, Spark SQL, what fits in where? So when you understand this whole ecosystem, you can work as a developer, as an architect as well. You can go and advise different clients as a consultant, or you can go and join as a developer or technology lead. So it kind of covers every kind of role, since the technology is relatively new. Okay. Okay, I hope that covers the third question, but we'll go to the other two questions as we go to the next few slides. Okay. Okay. Again, don't worry about the middle one at this point, but I am the instructor for this, and for the data science machine learning, we both Sridhar and there is my partner and myself. We both cover the data science machine learning. Okay. There will probably be some overlap between those classes because this is something kind of starting in parallel. So in one or two classes, both the students will be taking the same class. Like when we learn Python and when we learn Spark machine learning, those are common for both the student streams. So there will be some both batches will be sitting together at least for two classes. Okay, just wanted to let you know where there is some common subjects between those two, and that's what I will be covering because that's where my expertise is. Okay. This is all right. So what are we learning, or what are the things we are talking about here, right? Or what's the curriculum summary, right? As I said in the beginning, we'll be learning a couple of languages, Scala and Python. In the past, I didn't used to stress a lot on language, but I found out if students do not learn a language, right? The learning kind of gets half baked or half learning. I would say it's not complete, right? I cannot teach you or you will not learn Spark in 100% if you don't know Python or Scala. You can learn the concepts, you can learn the architecture, but creating a program, solving a use case, I think should be good or comfortable with one of the languages or both the languages. It helps for your understanding it. Even though you don't want to program, that's okay. But for you to understand the construct, understand the use case very well, it's good to learn a couple of languages. It's easy to learn, by the way. And even after 25 years in the IT, I'm still learning new stuff. I mean, again, right? So these are the Scala, Python, R. These are the languages of future, or the currently in the marketplace, right? Apart from that, we teach Hadoop Essentials, which is the main curriculum of the course, which covers things like we'll talk about that in the next slide. Then Apache Spark, that also has different components. We'll talk about that. And NoSQL. NoSQL is one of the databases. NoSQL stands for not only SQL. We'll talk about that. And Cassandra is one of the databases that will be covered as part of the NoSQL. There is HBase and Cassandra. We'll cover kind of some HBase and some NoSQL. Okay, and some Cassandra. Okay. Lab exercises, almost every session starting second week of the course, we'll have lab exercises in the class as well as assignments. Okay, very hands-on lab oriented class. We just don't go over PPTs and all that. We pretty much engage on the platform and do stuff. Okay. Also, we do a project. Unfortunately, when I changed my laptop today, the other laptop has it. I should have shown you, but my other laptop, for some reason, GoToMeeting didn't start. I had to quickly switch to this laptop, and all my material is over there. I just got the only deck. So project, we do a kind of real-time project because I have been in this industry for many years. So I have created a project that's kind of imitates or kind of emulates your real life project, where we bring in 10 to 12 data files from different source systems, bring into big data, stage it, cleanse it, enrich it, and make it available for reporting and analytics. So you go through that process that kind of builds your knowledge of typical project that's happening around. Okay. Uh, Apart from that, I talk about a lot of use cases that I have worked within my company for different accounts, like Apple. One of the Apple project we did where we migrated their database from Teradata to Big Data. Huge migration, almost close to half petabytes, uh, almost 2-3 years back. And now it is almost 4 to 6 petabytes. Things like I did one of the project I led as a solution architect for the Toyota connected car, where data will be collected in real time from the cars, car driving, what time you start, what's your latitude and longitude, what's the terrain, all the stuff, your engine diagnostics that will be collected in real time, and you how to put it in big data, how to analyze it. Things like can I predict the repair statistics or repair for the car based on its usage, right? Can I predict when the engine is going to fail, or so many part will be fail, or the repair is due for it, right? So those kind of some kind of what we call descriptive analytics and predictive analytics. I'll talk about those. So these are some of those stuff, because at the end, if you bring the data, what do you use it for? Like that you need to know. So we'll give those perspectives, since I have a lot of knowledge, lot of exposure in this area. So what you will see in my class is not just learning from technology stack standpoint, but you get a lot of flavor from where it is being used, how it is being used, what the other companies are doing. So that's the different flavor you will be getting as part of this course. We'll be talking that almost throughout. And the architectures involved in building some of those technologies, because I have at least 40, 50, or at least let's say 10, 15 of those architecture solutions for all the engagements I have been involved. So I'll show those, and you'll get a lot of perspective of the real life situations. Okay. So that's the kind of core summary information about the course that we'll be covering. It's a total 8-weekend course. So first 4 weeks, it may not be exactly 4 weeks. This has changed a little bit. I'll tell you why. So there is kind of divided into 4-4. Now it is kind of 3-5. The reason is we try to get the initial part done in the first 3 weeks. The reason being, the MapReduce used to be a large, used to take a lot of, in almost 1.5 weekend, almost 4, 12 hours, so almost 3 days earlier. Since MapReduce is, again, folks don't know what is MapReduce. MapReduce is the processing framework for Hadoop. Okay, it's a processing framework. In recent years, it is getting replaced by a better and optimized framework called Apache Spark. Okay, and we'll rather focus on the new area, which is getting a lot of traction in the industry. If you go to the market right now, if you're looking for jobs, they will ask you, have you got experience with Apache Spark? Nobody will probably ask you how much experience in the MapReduce. If you've got it, that's great. New implementations are pretty much 100% going into Spark. Nobody's going back to MapReduce. But companies, those who have developed their programs on MapReduce, probably some of the programs are still there. American Express, Bank of America, they still have programs written in Pig and MapReduce. So some conversion is happening. So if you join there, probably they want you to be good at both sides, because you'll be doing the migration. So it depends. If it's a new company adopting big data, you don't need to know MapReduce. But it's a company which has been doing big data for a few years. Probably they have their code still lying somewhere in MapReduce, and somebody who understands both sides of it, they need that kind of skill set. Depends. So we'll learn about the Hadoop distributed file system. This is the distributed file system in Hadoop. We'll learn about the MapReduce, which is the processing framework. If this is about storage, this is about processing. Those are the two core frameworks we'll learn. Once we do that, we'll go into programming part. That's where how to access the data. The Hive is the database. Ravi, you asked what's the database? Actually, Hive is the database, is the major database for Hadoop. No matter whether it's Cloudera, Hortonworks, Mapper, Big Insight from IBM, or any of the cloud implementations, EMR on AWS or HD Insight on Azure. They all have Hive. Hive is the common data warehouse or common database solution for all Hadoop environments. This is one of the main components every big data implementation is using. So if that's your database, your query language is this. HiveQL, Hive query language, just like any SQL you have been doing. Okay. There is also Impala. For Cloudera, we call it Impala. For other Mapper and Hortonworks, those are different, because this is where the difference between different implementations come into picture. What does that mean? Impala is Cloudera specific. Impala is not a common product, but rest of the stuff you see here, they are common to any distribution. You learn on one platform, you are good with any platform. Nobody will ask you, oh, you got trained in Cloudera or you worked on Cloudera, you cannot join Hortonworks. Nobody will question. They know it's all the same. Except tools like Impala. Except tools like Drill that is on the Mapper. And that's not a big difference. So you don't have to worry. What we learn is Cloudera here, Cloudera 5.8 with the latest stack, tech stack. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So we learn MapReduce, we learn the database stuff with Hive query language, Impala, Hue. It's a web-based application. We'll cover that. It's a web-based query tool which comes with Hadoop. Pig and Pig Latin will not cover a lot, because this is nothing but the, again, MapReduce specific programming. Was very hot 2-3 years back, but not anymore. So MapReduce and Pig Latin will reduce the content, but we'll still do it. Not much, maybe, so that you know what it is. And a couple of programs, don't go deep into it. Because nobody will probably ask you if the interviews or you go to the job market. Then we learn a couple of more tools called Scoop, Flume, Uji. These are again, think of like how to load the data into Hadoop, how to batch load. Flume is about how to bring in data in real time. Okay. So this is about storage. This is about processing. This is about accessing the data. This is about doing the ETL transformation on the data. This is about like building or doing batch load, loading data from relational database to Hadoop, or loading the data in.
Are these scheduling tools?
Scheduling tool is Uji.
Uji.
Okay. The scheduling tool, or you can hook it up with your client tool, whatever it is there, like your Autosys, your Control M, your Tidal, any of those tools you can hook up to any of these programs as well, if you don't want to use Uji. So that's a choice. It depends what best practices company wants to use. But by default, Uji comes in as part of the ecosystem. Then also we cover NoSQL. I talked about that, the NoSQL basics. There are many types of NoSQL databases. So Hive is one type of database, handles your analytics. NoSQL handles your ad hoc reporting or ad hoc, not ad hoc reporting, kind of OLTP. It's a different kind of database. It's not even OLTP. So handling the unstructured data that you were talking about earlier. Schema-less database, flexible schema, extremely fast, 10 to 100 times, 1,000 times faster than your DB2 and all that. Python Scala, of course, we'll cover that as part of this curriculum. So this is your Hadoop Essential. This is what comes with the platform, and we learn all these technologies. Once we focus a lot is Hive and Scoop and NoSQL. Those three. From job standpoint, from learning standpoint, from any standpoint, these are the three areas we focus a lot. That's what will fetch you job. Hive, Scoop from this page, and we go to the next one, which is the advanced. Second part, we get to the advanced, again not advanced, but the second part, which is the Spark. Since Spark is becoming kind of a de facto platform of future, it is kind of becoming what I see in the industry. It's the de facto distributed environment for any analytics in the future. Many tools, machine learning tools, many data wrangling tools coming into the market are adopting Spark as their platform. I've seen that in many tools. So this is becoming your future platform for your any data ingestion, analytics, anything you think of. At least for now, we don't know how technology changes so quickly. We don't know. I mean, innovation is all the time happening, which is good also. But this is what we'll focus a lot. And since Apache Spark uses Scala and Python for its programming, that's the reason we get started with Scala Python right from the beginning, right from the first class or second class. So that you learn it on the side, and by the time you come to Apache Spark on the fourth weekend, you have some background. So you can start coding right away. Doing Spark SQL, doing Spark streaming, doing Spark machine learning, and Spark code. These are the four core components of Spark. What you used to do earlier in the earlier page with different tools, with Spark you could do everything in a single platform. That's one of the biggest benefit of Spark. It's a one single platform doing everything. It can do your data ingestion, it can do your SQL, just like database you can query it with SQL. You can do Spark streaming from Twitter, from web logs, from clickstream, all those things you can do. And you can do analytics, run analytics on top of it using machine learning. Same language, one platform. Makes the development much faster. And the language, that's the biggest difference. Scala and Python, very easy to learn, and these are functional languages. What do you mean by functional? The industry is going towards more functional languages. What you would write this code, any piece of code in 100 lines, you could probably write this in 5-10 lines in Scala, or less than that even, because they are functional languages. Very expressive and very easy to learn. That's the reason Scala, Python are gaining a lot of popularity, and that's what we'll be using to do our Spark programming. Okay, and it's very, you'll see that very. I've seen like Adil, GI, you're talking about Adil, right? So he, a lot of new students without any IT background. I have a couple of students who come from medical background. They are tech analyst and not tech, sorry, lab analyst and all that, and they have picked up Scala just like pro. They are doing it. So it's not a difficult language to learn. So so those are the two topics, right? Hadoop Essential, the earlier slide, and here is the Spark. We focus and build our expertise on Spark along with Spark, Scala and Python. So this is where focus comes in, because it is not just a platform. It is making you language experts. You are learning a platform which is the platform of future, and pretty much any big data implementation will be using, 95%, as I said, and that's where I want to focus. And of course, we will focus one or two NoSQL, because if you are putting some skill sets on your resume, you should at least put one NoSQL database that MongoDB, Cassandra, or Benchbase. There's a question, Ravi, how important is to know Unisys scripting? If you know, definitely it is very good. If you know, right, shell scripting, definitely it is a plus point. But at the minimum, learn some basic Linux commands. ls is listing the file, copy, move, create directory, remove directory, the basic Linux commands, so that when you work on this platform, you are comfortable. Beyond that, if you want to be expert in shell scripting, definitely that's a plus point. Okay. Since as I said, when you market yourself, you will say, hey, I'm a Spark developer or Spark architect or big data architect with expertise on Spark and knowing Scala and Python and shell scripting. That is the profile you are building, whether it's developer or architect, right? I come from data background. I have been in the database many years, but now I'm a big data expert. That's it complements each other, right? Because I understand the data modeling concept, I understand the reporting, I understand the platform, I understand what is ETL, all those things. On top of that, I know the big data technology, and my expertise or my I have built it on Apache Spark with couple of languages like Spark and Scala, right? That is a Scala and Python. So that's your kind of summary statement when you talk to the interviewer. This is my profile looks like, kind of. Will be little variations, but that's what we are trying to achieve as part of the program. Because at the end we'll want to get a job, right? Or present ourselves in the market. So that's we kind of structuring or focusing in such a way. That's what we build. I mean, there are 100 things to learn, but that you can learn later on as well. We don't want to learn every 100 things in the training, and you lose the focus, right? Get to the job, learn the rest in the job, but go with some strength, which industry is looking for. Best you can learn. I mean, there's hundreds of topics. I mean, you can't learn in even 2 months. It will take years. So which is fine. I mean, and they understand that. So as I said, yes. So apart from the course, because since we have a lot of students who come from school directly, some of them are looking for jobs and a lot of those kind of stuff. Okay, for that reason, we have some. We do host some interactive question answer. I'm sorry, mock-up sessions. This is outside the class. We do at least 3 sessions, at least 3 to 4 sessions we do during the weekdays in the second half of the course. Once you get to know all the topics, I have been interviewing myself for my company in the last 2 or 3 years. Probably I have interviewed at least 100 folks. So I know typically what they ask. I have interviewed architects, senior architects. I have interviewed developers. I have interviewed technology leads because I'm a senior principal architect. I have 12 senior architects. They report to me. There are total 17 architects who report to me. Some architects, some senior architects. So I know. I mean, at any level, I know what's the expectation. So that's something I can help you based on your background, whichever background you are coming from. So, okay. And we talk about a lot of the use cases and sample use cases so that you can put it as your POC. I'll talk about how to write your resume, how to put a project and few POCs, proof of concepts, based on the market industry expectation. You cannot put 3-4 projects for 4-5 years. It's something, that will completely be a lie, right? Yes, you will put something, but you will structure it in such a way which kind of meets the expectation, because I've seen that. So I'll help you to build your resume, how to build it. What do you put in, right? A migration project, 2-3 POCs, proof of concept like this. Okay, we brought in unstructured data, JSON data, all that we integrated with Spark streaming. That's a POC, proof of concept. And a lot of companies are doing that. I was there with Toyota just from Jan to November to till I think March. All I was doing is proof of concept. All those 3-4 months, all I was doing is a proof of concept. Unstructured data, proof of concept, Kafka, streaming, all those things. So streaming, proof of concept, hype. So most of them are proof of concept, and that you could put it in the resume. And those are kind of like projects. Okay. But so we'll bring in some of those. We'll build some proof of concept for you so that you can put it as proof of as your content for the resumes. Okay. And that's what we'll do. I tell folks at the end of the course, you go for some certification if possible. So since we are covering Cloudera, there are Cloudera specific certifications. There is a Spark and Hadoop developer certification. There is a data engineer certification. There is a data analyst certification. So there are 3 types of certifications you can target, and the course material, the lab exercises, assignments, and the projects that we cover in the class pretty much prepare you for that course. Pretty much you should be ready for that, because it's a hands-on coding type of certification. It's not multiple choice. Earlier it used to be multiple. Now they didn't. They made it. They will give you a use case and ask you to fill in the code and all that in Spark, in Scala and Python. Again, things are they are not difficult, but that's what we'll cover in the class when we go through the course curriculum. Okay. What kind of roles you are looking for? What kind of roles you must be thinking? Okay, what do people hire? What do these companies hire us, right? Of course, there is a lot of demand for the Hadoop developers. Normal standard developer, maybe they'll be getting. Just last week, we had some requirement with Verizon in Dallas from 5 Spark developers. Right? So I had sent some of the students' resume there. There's some interviews they are getting scheduled this week or next week. So it's a Spark developer. What do we mean a Spark developer? Who knows Spark and who is probably good at Scala and Python. Okay. 1 year requirement, that was the requirement. 1 year in Scala, Spark, that was the requirement of the job. Or it could be the top one, the first one you see. This kind of this job are very rare nowadays, because not MapReduce. Not many people are doing MapReduce. So Java-based programming, MapReduce programming will be pretty rare, but there could be few. If you are good with Java and that job comes in, go ahead. But that could be very rare nowadays. Same thing, Pig and Hive developers. I don't think there will be something like Pig Hive developer anymore. They may say, hey, we are looking for a Hadoop developer with Hive, Spark, and maybe NoSQL background. This is something, and maybe Scala, Python, one of these. Okay, this is kind of typical job description you will see when you look at DICE or any of those. So it could be a big data. You could be just a NoSQL engineer. You could learn Cassandra. You don't know anything else. You could be just a Cassandra engineer. Could be. Or it could be a Cassandra. If you go into the admin side, it could be a Cassandra DBA, database administrator as well. Big data analyst. Is a big data analyst. If you don't want to get into coding and all that, like the what do you call BSAs, right? Business analyst, right? BSA role. You don't want to get into coding, you want to stay on the analysis side, you can be a big data analyst. In fact, that's where you can take the third certification I showed you earlier. CCA data analyst, you could be just focus on the consumption side, just consumption. You know how to use the Tableau, you know how to use Impala, you know how to use all the reporting tools on top of big data. Right? That could be your skill set. That's how we market yourself. So you could be a Scala developer, Spark Scala developer. You could be a Python developer on Spark. You could be a Scala developer Spark. So, and of course, this is all developer roles or senior developer role or technology lead role. And same way you can be technology architects who knows understands this technology, who can produce or who can provide architecture solutions. Folks, those are interested in those area. This is my area. I don't go into lot architecture level final solutioning, although I cover few, because it's a mixture of folks, people may get confused because that's where you need more expertise. I can help you. So that's what I do day in and day night. To how to present yourself as an architect, how to build your skill set as an architect, but it all starts from programming. Sorry, it all starts from here. Once you get good at that, how to put it all together, solve a problem, At developer level, you are not solving a problem. You are just doing coding chunk by chunk. But when you become architect, you are solving a bigger problem. And that's where understanding of the tech stack is extremely important. What is good? Why Spark? Why should I use Spark here? Why should not I use Spark there? Why should I use NoSQL here? That's the decision that we'll be making as architect. And those are very good jobs and well-paying jobs as well. Okay. System requirement, you will all be supposed to bring a laptop. More the memory you have, it's better. Of course, every laptops nowadays is 64-bit. I don't think that's a problem. Or Mac, either one will work. 8 to 12 GB RAM. If you have been more than that, that's great. Free space, yeah, 50 GB should be sufficient. The virtual machine that you will get is a Cloudera virtual machine. CDS 5.8 we have been using. I'm thinking to upgrade in this next batch to the next level. So you can play the virtual machine using the virtual VM player, and it will be installed on your laptop, and you will have it all the time, so that you can do your assignments, lab inside the class as well. The components installed, the softwares that will be installed, those will be pre-installed for you. CDS 5, which is Cloudera distribution of Hadoop 5, installed, configured. Cassandra will be installed there. MySQL DB, I'll come back to Kafka. MySQL will be installed there. Eclipse will be installed there, although we're not doing a lot of Java development, it will be installed there. There will be a couple of programs we'll do with my MapReduce to show you. And all the assignment files, project files, everything will be installed on top of that. And one of them is Kafka. That's a messaging framework. When we do Apache Spark streaming, we'll integrate Kafka with streaming for the real-time ingestion from Twitter, from weblogs and all that. So that will be installed as well. So it will be all pre-installed on your laptop or in the virtual machine, and you take that virtual machine, put it on your laptop, then play it with virtual VM player, or there is Oracle there's Oracle player as well. Okay, either way you can use it. And we'll give you reference material books for the Hadoop, for the Spark, for Cassandra. It's now all listed here. I will give you the emails, Ravi. Ravi is asking whether they will be doing installs. We'll give you the emails, and you will have it, everything will be there. So doing the install, some of the things I will show you some of the install, but since it is not the admin course, we are not going into details of our install, but we'll show you the where are the files, where are the config files, where is the what are the services running, how to stop and start the services, those kind of stuff. We'll cover that, but we'll not get into the installing each one of the components. Most of them will be pre-installed primarily. Okay. Any questions so far? We're almost a hour. Maybe we'll spend 15-20 more minutes. This deck, I'll send it out to you. This talks about little about big data. And if you don't know big data, of course you are all here because of this reason, right? This slide kind of tells everything. This slide tells everything about what is going on outside, right? Which is nothing but the data growth. We are all here because the data is growing tremendously, exponentially, right? We are at 2016 end, or well 2017 in the middle. We are probably the total world data is around 12-13 zettabytes, which is like 21 zeros on the right side of one. So if you look at the last few years, right, things have been kind of going little faster pace. But you look at the next 5 years, 2020, the data is going even faster. That means your world data is doubling every 2 years, pretty much. It's doubling every 2 years. So if your data is doubling every 2 years, what do we do? Where do we store it? How to process it? How to build insights out of it? And how to deploy those insights in your business process to stay competitive, to make more money, to create new revenue streams, or just to stay competitive, right? Just say, for example, if JCPenney and Walmart don't stay competitive, what will happen? Amazon will pretty much take away everything, which pretty much it has already pretty much taken a lot of stuff, lot of market share from these brick and mortar stores. The reason is simple. Amazon is flexible. Amazon adopted technology long before these companies adopted, and it's taking their market share. As simple as that. So if companies do not adopt, do not become a data-driven business, there is a huge risk for their survival. So every company is becoming data-driven. Everything is data-driven. Your decisions, everything is data-driven. And that's where this tool sets, that's where the big data analytics is the key to the success to any company. Doesn't matter which, retail, manufacturing, finance, any company. Doesn't matter. So big data is kind of main player in any industry. The reason is very simple. Big data is a lot of data, huge amount of data, variety of data. How do I store it? How to process it? How to get my business questions answered right away? It's as simple as that. Of course, analytics, predictive analytics, all those things are becoming, bigger, becoming more popular nowadays with every company. Like Amazon recommendation. When you go to the Amazon website, they say, hey, if you folks who bought this product also bought this, right? It's very popular. Netflix recommendations. They generate 35 to 40% of their revenue from recommendations. And which is behind the scene, it's all about data. Crunching the data, building recommendations, and presenting it. It's more about called the personalization. Personalize the experience by every user. That's where, these companies are been more competitive because of that reason. And who doesn't do that, probably, they lose a lot of market share. Anyway, so that's the kind of driver. That's the major driver which no company can afford to ignore. They can't afford to ignore because it's about their survival, pretty much. Any company you think about. So that's the reason big data analytics is becoming the core technology for today and for future, at least next 10-15 years. Right. And the platform is changing. We are moving a lot of things to cloud. That's a different discussion altogether. But those are the things. Big data, analytics, and cloud. These three areas are the main technology changes happening in the industry. Because of this reason, what you see here. Okay. All right, just wanted to give that this is the slide I showed to folks, but rest you can read what is happening and some of the background and all that. But that's the main reason. Okay. This is what I was showing earlier. This is a Hadoop ecosystem. This, we looked at in more text format. This is more kind of picture. We learned the HDFS at the bottom. You see that Hadoop distributed file system for storage. We learn the MapReduce, as you see here. It's not able to highlight for whatever reason. Okay. MapReduce, Pig, Hive, Scoop, Flume. Zookeeper doesn't have a lot of play in learning, just know it. Uji, HBase, these are the NoSQL. This is one single platform which we call it Apache Hadoop. Okay, so this is the tool which comes in, and this is the whole. This is the complete ecosystem. Then on top of that, Spark. It's not here shown here. So Spark is a complete another ecosystem which we kind of put on top of it. We replace this MapReduce with Spark. And that's a better engine, like Camry versus Ferrari kind of thing. It's much faster, much better. Okay, so this is when you learn this technology tech stack, you know data ingestion, you know data processing, you know data consumption, you know how to bring in data, take out data, the whole ecosystem. You can bring in structured data, you can bring in unstructured data, you can bring data in batch, you can bring in data in real time, you can do reporting on top of it, you can do analytics on top of it, like predictive analytics, all those stuff. So it's a complete ecosystem for every kind of use case that industry wants to use. Not every, but most of it. Right? So that's the reason. So this is not any industry specific. This is not like you are learning one tool like Tableau. You are learning several tools. I mean, several tools which gives you complete capability. Okay, and so that's where I will stop. Any questions? Let me know. But I try to give you a kind of high-level driver behind what is going on in the industry, why everybody is talking about big data and analytics. What's the driver? Why it is happening, or is it is it something you should learn or know, right? So, questions? Anu,
I'm good.
Ravi, Chia.
I'm good. I already asked you all the questions I had. Only next thing would be, when do you plan to start the new
This
batch?
is starting on 24th, so it's already decided. We are supposed to
Mm-hmm.
start on 17th. We are getting 1 week delayed, and
Mm-hmm.
24th we are all decided to start. We are on.
Okay, and how many students are you expecting in the
We
batch?
probably have 10, 12, 12, 13 at the max. 13 at the max it will be
Mm-hmm.
15, but I think at this point probably we have around 10, 12.
Okay,
Yeah.
and now another question. Since I am working and I work in a pretty senior position,
Yep.
and definitely over the weekends at times I get called, or the only time we can do maintenance is weekends.
I know. Yeah.
So you know the drill, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what question is coming.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
So,
would there be any flexibility there, or
yeah,
no?
good question. So we have the classes are offered in classroom as well as they are also offered through online. If you say, hey, I can't come today, I have some emergency, I have to work from home or something, you can join the class online. In fact, many of my students join the class online as well. Uh,
And do you record the
yes,
online
yes,
sessions
that's another thing. We record all the sessions, and
and
that
distribute them?
yeah, we distributed them within 24 hours, pretty much within 48 hours. By Sunday evening,
Okay,
okay.
got you.
Yeah. So yeah, either you can join in classroom online. They are all recorded. Then we'll create a distribution list where all students will be talking to each other, because there will be a lot of questions with assignment, this that. So there it's a kind of community. As a community, we'll go through 2 months.
Got you.
What are the timings of the course?
Timings so far in the last batch we have, there are some folks said, hey, we'll start early, some folks said we'll start a little late. Then what we did, we said, okay, we'll agree on both. So we started, we are starting 8:30, Sunday we are starting 9. So it doesn't have to be whatever students agree to. So we thought, okay, summer is coming, we can get up early and get started early. So 8:30 to 12:30 or 9 to 1, 4 for 8 hours over the weekend.
4 hours each day
Four
on
hours each.
Saturday?
Let me tell you, there's a
Okay.
lot of topics to cover, although we'll focus on few topics for job standpoint. But some of those senior guys, you have been in the market for 7, 8, 10, 12 to 15 years. You need to have the big picture, and that's the reason, there are a lot of topics, as you see, right? Every topic takes 1 weekend. Hive will take 1 weekend. SDFS will take 1 weekend. Spark, we have take 3-4 weekends. Cassandra will take 1 weekend. So that time 8 weekend is gone, right? So that's why it's 4 hours sometimes falls short to cover even in one single topic. But and in that you have lab, you are in the classroom stuff, right? So yeah, sometimes in fact this batch we had to extend to 9th weekend. So because there are two holidays were there. July 4th, I don't know which holiday it is falling. Probably that one will.
It's on a Tuesday. July 4th is on a Tuesday.
So they will probably give off on the Monday. No, they can't. They have to give the whole Tuesday anyway. It has to be
No,
Tuesday.
no, no.
Yeah. So that weekend, okay, long weekend. We'll see how that falls. I mean, how people, whether they're in town, out of town, depending on that, we'll take a decision whether we'll have class on that weekend or not.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out.
So in the last batch, we had two. Well, I had to take 1 weekend out. I was out. So anyway, that's the reason got stressed a little bit, and we are going through the 9th weekend for whatever reason. So I said, okay.
Okay, just to make sure, you said the session is going to start on 24th,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay, that's okay. And Just and the other question, so because Adil said the timings could be different, like because you sent us the email, so I just wanted to make sure like we are all working on like New York based time or US based time, or because I got the email, it said 4:30, but like then the timing was different. So you're gonna send us the email?
Yeah. So this, see, I'm in US, right? So I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I don't know why it said 4:30. Well, 4:30 PST. It's the Pacific time. I don't know when I schedule it on my go-to-meeting. It sets the PST time zone. Again, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Once you know the timing, it will be pretty much fixed. So
Okay.
it will be either 9 o'clock or 8:30. So you will know that from the first class. After first class, you'll pretty much know. And typically, I send the links day before so that folks those are joining online, they will have it. And we will talk. And you will have my email, you have my phone number. You call me many times. Adil or people go, hey, I didn't get the. Can you send me the link? I didn't get it. So I'm just phone call away.
Okay. Okay. So and also you're gonna send us the slides and everything, the softwares you said.
Oh
You're
yeah,
gonna send us through
absolutely.
email.
Everything will be uploaded onto Google Drive where you can download, and folks those are in the class, they will just take it from my USB drive, so zip drive.
Okay, sounds good. And also the last thing you said in-person class. What do you mean by that in-person
Oh
class?
yeah, we also see some of this. See, Adil is joining the class. Your friend is joining online, but same time we have folks in the class. I'm teaching them in the class.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, both
Got it.
happens together same time. Some folks are online and I'm in the class right in front of me. People are in the class as well. You'll be hearing from both sides.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds great.
And some people want to be in the classroom environment, right? So that's the reason it's both. We have a 20 seater room in Dallas where we do this class. We have been doing that for almost last 2 years. So
Yeah, but Ratikant, I am from that old school of thought. I believe being in the class.
yep. So yeah.
Oh, we all are from old school, but the only thing is we can't join
I
in
know,
class.
I know. But what
I
I've
mean,
seen from my experience, it's the interest of the students. For example, Adil, his friend, Jazz friend. It's all the interest of some online folks have picked up much better than someone. It all depends on the interest. Let me tell you, I've done almost 300 students. I have gone through my class, but it goes. The curriculum is not difficult. It's the interest. You focus on it and you learn it. Doesn't matter. I mean, when I started my career on big data, I did the online class. In fact, there was no in online in classroom in Dallas that time, so I had to take it. So that's how I got started 3 years back. So 3-4 years back. Okay. All right. Any other questions? I just want to give you back. Well, it's on 1 hour 15 minutes. I think originally scheduled for 1 hour or 1 hour. I said 1 hour 30 minutes. Okay. So I will talk to you, each of you. Anu and Reshma is your friend. I'm recording the session. What I will do, I'll just send the link. Anu, if you want to, I think I have her email address. So what I'll do, I'll just send it to her anyway, and share the link with each one of you. So and send this deck, whatever is presented today, so that if you want to have any question, let me know. And let me know quickly. I'll reach out to each one of you anyway, and we'll get started on 24th.
okay, thanks a lot, Ratik.
All right.
Sounds great, I think.
Thank you, Jia. Thank you, Ravi. Thanks, Anu. Anu, any question? Last minute thought?
No, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, bye.
Talk to you
Have a
later.
good one.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.